Ballad of the Legend of the Adventures of an Orc's Odyssey Saga. By Michael H. Lazo. It was a hot, sunny day, and a lone walker traveled across the desert, not knowing he was being observed. The noise of a gunshot echoed through the silent clearing. With astonishing reflexes, the walker dodged the bullet and, in one movement, turned around and threw his huge axe, aiming at the attacker. The bullet barely grazed his right shoulder, splashing a little blood, but he didn't even flinch as he walked towards the direction from which the bullet came. The gunslinger lay on the ground, and on top of his head, the axe split his black hat into two symmetrical halves. He felt a drop of blood sliding from his scalp to his nose while the enormous silhouette, his target, came closer to pick up the huge axe with one hand. "Don't kill me, please. This is just a misunderstanding," screamed the gunslinger in despair and anguish. He was a goblin, a small humanoid not taller than half an average human. Goblins were known for their volatile tempers, lack of empathy, and for being bloodthirsty and heartless. "You tried to kill me," retorted the axe wielder, an orc, a green humanoid usually not very bright, quick to anger, bloodthirsty, and cruel. However, they were usually more inclined to care about their kind and were more respectful of their tribal hierarchy. This particular individual was huge, even for an orc. Maybe he had some giant blood, a hormonal problem, or a brain tumor that would explain his ways. "Me hero, me kill bad men," added the orc, raising his axe ready to deal the final blow. "No," the goblin cried. "Hero, maybe that's my way out of this mess," he thought. "Please don't kill me. It's all a misunderstanding. I'm a hero too. I'm good. Let me tell you what happened. My name is Arthur Hopbert Goblinson III. I'm a hero, just like you. I just saved my hometown from a band of evildoers," said the little man, talking fast and panting. "I was minding my own business when bandits tried to rob the local bank. But I wouldn't let them commit a crime, not under my watch. So I confronted them, and I managed to catch almost all of them and bring them to the authorities. But one of them escaped. I was chasing him, but I lost track. When I saw you from afar, I thought you were the bandit. In reality, what had happened was quite different. The goblin was indeed from a nearby town, but he was part of the gang of bandits that had tried to rob the bank. Our little friend, who was devilishly cunning, had the great idea to betray his fellow bandmates. Before the job, he had alerted the town authorities so that they were prepared. A big gunfight had started, and he had seized the opportunity to kill the law enforcers, his bandmates, and any civilians in his path. As I said, goblins were mostly despicable, heartless little men, but this one was particularly treacherous and petty. After the failed robbery, he had taken everything he could, gold from the bank, the best weapons, and anything valuable from the dead, back to our story. Our goblin friend was so focused on his own fake tale that he didn't notice the orc had left midway through the story. Well, it seems I was wasting my histrionic talents, and this moron wasn't even listening. He picked up the two halves of his hat, took a look at them with disdain, turned his head left and right, and threw them away in rage. Then he walked away. After some days of walking, he was ranting alone through the desert. "I should have made sure to keep at least one horse alive. How didn't I think of that? I let bloodlust take the best of me." Suddenly, he stepped into something. Ugh! What the hell is this? He looked to the floor and found a throbbing ball of meat and bones in a green and red mass, the orc's great axe broken nearby. Wow! It can't be true. This is the orc that dodged my bullet. How could someone so skilled end up like this? He looked around and found evidence of a fierce battle. Judging by the tracks and marks, someone, obviously a powerful humanoid, fought that stupid orc and defeated him after an intense battle. What if that person is still around? I wouldn't have a chance if said person caught me alone. My only choice is to use my valuable regeneration elixir on what's left of the orc, and if we stumble upon the warrior who defeated him, I could use that moron as cannon fodder while I make my escape. The goblin drew a bag from his bag. It was a magical bag that could carry lots of stuff inside, and this one, in particular, was one of the most expensive and with the greatest carrying capacity. He produced a fancy bottle with a label that read, "Great Regeneration Elixir," and poured its contents where he thought the orc's digestive tract started, which was not easy being that he looked like green and red jello. The magic potion took effect, and slowly the bones joined together and reassembled. On top of them, muscles, tendons, nerves, and finally, green skin formed. "What happened?" asked the newly healed orc, feeling disoriented. "Orc, I, the great hero Arthur Hopbert Goblinson III, with my great kindness and magnificence, have saved your life. You don't have to thank me, for now. We must get out of here as soon as possible in case he returns. Oh, me thank, hero friend. Me remember, me fight with warrior covered in metal. Very strong enemy. I have to seek revenge." "What? No. We must flee, I mean, not orc, we have to find you a new weapon. You can't fight without weapons and clothes." At that moment, the goblin realized that the orc was naked. And CC clothes. He was impressed by the size of the orc's manliness, blushing and shaking his head. "There's no time to think about those things now. We must go and get you equipped again to be heroes. Do you remember?" "Yes, I can't fight without weapons." "Tinatork hero," said the orc, extending his right hand. The goblin shook his hand and said, "I'm Arthur Hopbert Goblinson III, also a hero." The orc looked at him puzzled, mouth open and drooling, too much for his brain. The goblin noticed and said, shrugging, "Okay, call me just Hopbert." The orc didn't react for a while, then tried to repeat, "Hop." Yes, Hopbert," said the goblin. "Hop. Hopbert. Bert. Hopbert." "Hop," said the orc with a smile. "Friend Hop," he added. "Gur, whatever." The goblin gave up, frustrated. "Whatever, let's go." Some days passed, and our heroes reached their destination, the place where a tribe of monsters used to live. But they found it utterly destroyed, nothing but ruins and corpses everywhere. "This is the work of the man you fought back in the desert," mumbled the goblin, thinking out loud. The orc just stood still, looking at nothing. "Let's loot everything of value and camp outside town. Some corpses are not that spoiled, we can cook them for dinner." The next morning, they walked towards the next monster settlement, but they found the same picture. The same with the next one and the one after that one. Half a dozen monster settlements totally devastated. "This person has destroyed all those settlements on his way. We have no option but to go to a human city." "Listen," said the goblin, taking out 2 cloaks from his magical pouch. "We will wear these, and we will try to pass unnoticed. They are not fond of our kind there. You just follow me and don't open your mouth or lots of puppies and kittens will die." "Oh no," said the orc, hands on both sides of his face. They arrived at a human city, a port city. Years ago, humans and their allies, elves, dwarves, etc., fought a bloody war against what they considered monstrous races, goblins, orcs, trolls, ogres, etc. So, our pair were considered mortal enemies and would be arrested and even killed if they were exposed. "Wait here while I talk to the guards." The little cloaked figure went, talked to the guards, and came back. "Okay, let's go, don't you dare open your mouth, the kittens and puppies, remember. I just used my persuasion skills so they let us in without questions." The goblin bribed the guards with gold. The guards let them in. They went to one of the cheapest inns near the port and, using the same technique, they rented a room. "Stay here while I go for weapons and supplies. Don't move, don't make any noises, the puppies remember," said Hopbert while donning the black cloak and walking out of the room. In the middle of the night, the goblin came back and woke the orc up. "Hey, wake up. We've got to run now. Take this." He gave the orc a big axe, as big as the one he lost, a bunch of other items like potions and magic trinkets, and a ring. The orc put the ring on. Thank you, Hop, shut up, be quiet, we have to leave unseen. The guards, they betrayed us and called the authorities to arrest us that I can kill any human. No, no. We have to flee quietly. It's an order, yes, my lord. Said the orc in a monotone voice and empty gaze. Good, follow me and don't make a noise. Both jumped from a window and sneaked away wearing their black cloaks. While the orc rested in the inn, the goblin was busy finding someone to enchant a ring that would slightly increase the orc's intelligence and also allow Hop to mind control him. Then, he went around the black market, killing merchants and stealing their merchandise. He knew it wouldn't take long for the authorities to notice and hunt him, so his plan was to flee from the city in the middle of the night and head to the west, getting as far as possible from there and the person who killed all those monsters. Once safe, he planned to keep up with his happy life of robbing and killing. They took the road northwest and walked a couple of hours when a silhouette appeared in front of them. A man waited in the middle of the road, and Hopbert heard his voice in his head. Goblin, I'm here to take that orc with me. We need him to kill Albarak, said the stranger. What? Sure, pal. We're gonna help you for sure, said Hopbert as he approached the orc. When he was close enough, he made a striking movement, drew his guns, and started shooting while screaming, Attack, you moron! Destroy him! Ha 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 ha! The orc, with a lost gaze, ran holding his axe with both hands and slashed at the man in the middle of the road. The man became mist before bullets or the blade could touch him. The mist moved through the orc, traversing him. Poor idiot! Did you believe you could steal my bodyguard that easily? Yelled the goblin while shooting at the mist. The orc shook his head and turned around. Fast as lightning, he closed the distance between him and the goblin and struck hard at the little man with the flat of his axe. What are you? Said Hopbert, his head numb with pain, as he fell into unconsciousness. The goblin was knocked out too. When Hopbert woke up, he heard voices nearby. So this goblin was controlling you with a spell on this ring he gave you. The ring also increases your cognitive abilities. I neutralized the mind-controlling spell, so don't worry about it anymore. Thanks for sparing his life. Yes, he tried to enslave me, and he is a backstabbing rat, but I do owe him my life. Don't mention it. As long as you can keep him under control. But back to important business. We know you stood your ground to Albarak. Where am I? Said Hopbert, slowly opening his eyes. You are in Zombisha, said an undead-looking character wearing lots of jewelry, a fancy rococo outfit, and long curly hair. What? Who? Albarak is a powerful knight who came to this land on a crusade to destroy settlements and kingdoms. Anyone who is not a human ally. We are here because we arranged to confront him in my own kingdom tonight. My army is ready, and those here are also ready to fight. My name is Lord Zombite. This is Count Nosferaldo, and these are my concubines, Shangonia, Cyclopecia, and Gorgonia. With Tiny Torque, we will defeat this threat. You can stay and help or beg. The goblin thought it wouldn't be safe for him to go alone while the menace of a powerful assassin was nearby. He decided to stay and escape later when Albarak showed up. I'll stay and help you. You can count me and my babies here, said Hob, raising his guns, trying to look sincere. Listen up. Here is the plan. My armies of undead and dark elves, or rather Lady Undead and Lady Dark Elves, will bring Albarak to our trap. I will create a negative energy magical barrier to weaken our enemy. Tiny Torque will confront him, Shangonia will flank him from behind, Nosferaldo is going to provide air support. You, Cyclopecia, and Gorgonia must use ranged attacks from different angles. I'll concentrate on the negative energy field to keep it constant and steady. Each member of the team got to their assigned positions. Armies of hundreds of dark elves and undead adopted formations outside the city. Nosferaldo turned into mist and floated up to the sky over the square. Zombite started casting the ritual to create his most powerful negative energy over the square. The strike of the brilliant sword fell. Tiny Torque quickly rolled, evading the blow while pulling a healing potion from his belt. He put it in his mouth, bottle and all, bit into it, and swallowed it with shards of broken glass. Completing the maneuver, he shifted his weight onto his hands and leaped forward, rising to his feet. Zombite regained composure. Albarak's sword ceased to shine. Albarak paused for a moment. He looked at the orc's face. Something was different. His expression of determination had been replaced by a simple smile and a vacant gaze, just like the first time they faced each other. Albarak wasted no more time and thrust his sword forward, intending to finish off the orc. But when the blade reached its destination, the target was no longer there. As he turned, he saw that the orc had retrieved his weapon, and the axe's head was about to land on his back. That a muffled growl was heard, and through the visor of his helmet, Albarak's eyes widened. At that moment, one of Nosferaldo's rays pierced his body, and electricity surged through him, causing his muscles to contract and his nerves to send intense pain signals from the burns. The orc continued to strike blow after blow, and Albarak was now on the defensive. As Albarak found himself at a disadvantage, he started making mistakes, and a bullet from Hop hit him in the leg. Although his attacker now had support, Albarak was certain that the orc was even more skilled than the first time they fought. With a single swing of his axe, the orc sent Albarak's sword flying. He fell to his knees. The orc raised his hand and shouted with a shrill voice, "Stop!" Everyone paused, except Hop, who kept shooting. The orc took Albarak's shining sword and threw it towards the goblin. It landed once again right above his head, barely grazing his skin. The sword's light spread to the goblin's body, and he screamed in agony, falling to the ground, smoking. "Finish it once and for all, monster," said Albarak. Tinytorque removed the helmet, leaving everyone surprised. Albarak was a beautiful elf with black hair and cinnamon skin. Her eyes were shades that seemed to vary from turquoise to blue. "Finish it once and for all," said Albarak again, without the helmet, her voice sounding deep yet feminine. "You be the only person to defeat Tinytorque one-on-one." "Me want rematch," said the orc, extending his hand. The others looked at each other. "We can't let her live, she has killed thousands of our kind," Zombite told him. Nosferaldo appeared and returned Tinytorque's ring to him. Tinytorque responded as he put on the ring, "I be hero, me not kill fallen enemy. Me believe there be goodness in all, and we all make mistakes. Humans and their allies have reasons to hate us. In countless wars, our kind has killed and committed horrendous acts against theirs. If we keep acting that way, none of us will ever live in peace. She came to destroy us because others of our kind did the same to her people. People with power like us should fight for peace instead of eradicating the enemy. Well, we understand your point, but it's still very dangerous for us," Nosferaldo telepathically told everyone present. "If you don't share my way of thinking, I'll take Albarak with me, and you won't see us again. No, we believe you're a powerful ally, and we know that even together we can't defeat you. Who knows when the next Albarak will come? It's in our best interest for you to stay with us." "I'm willing to accept your conditions," Lord Zombite said. "What should we do with the goblin?" someone asked. "For now, it's best that he remains under my supervision as well," the orc replied. "Albarak, we will have another duel, just you and me. You defeated me once, and I want to prove that I can defeat you under equal conditions. For now, you will leave behind all your magical equipment and stay with us under my supervision," Tinytorque declared. Albarak could only look at him with wide-open eyes. She never imagined that the battle would end like this. "I regret the death of your friend, Zombite," Albarak said. "I do too. She was a loyal companion, and I know she didn't want to return as an undead." "We will give her an unholy burial," Zombite replied. The group returned to Zombite's castle, where they ate and rested. Although they achieved victory, it was a bittersweet outcome due to the heavy losses. Tinytorque continued to train for a while, providing Albarak with the necessary facilities to train as well. He learned to clear his mind in battle without needing to remove the intelligence ring. His new friends provided him with the best magical equipment, including a new and improved axe, daggers, swords, and even a lightweight armor since carrying too much metal was uncomfortable for him. They also enhanced the intelligence ring, adding protections against mental powers. Tiny Torque decided it was time for his duel with Alberac, but she confessed that she didn't feel strong enough. So Tiny proposed that they embark on a journey to fulfill their heroic destinies, and Alberac accepted. They brought the cunning goblin with them, as they couldn't leave him alone. And so, they began a life of adventures together.